So if you could just give one tip, one insight, one thought, one strategy to millennials to better lead either themselves, their business, their community, what would that be?
Mm. Sit with yourself, find your authentic voice, your authentic self. You know, I can tell you everything I do as a leader, but that's what works for me because I've done a lot of work and continue to do work on self to understand who I am. And I believe that people want to follow, the most authentic leaders. So if we look at somebody like Steve Jobs, there's so many schools of thought on who he was as a leader. And, he was a tough man as I understand it. And I don't know like a ton about him, but many of us are familiar with the fact that he was a tough leader. He could be really aggressive, but people wanted to follow him because I think my sense is that he was absolutely in his authentic self. That is who he was as a leader. That is how he brought his genius to the world. That's not how I bring my genius. And when I started out on my journey, I would read all these leadership books and try to like implement what they told me. But the reality was they were other people's styles of leadership. And once I started surrendering to my style, like one of the things that I love working with friends. I love it. We bring our whole selves to work, everything that's going on. It's personal, it's professional, it's all the things. It's a melting pot of who we are. And that works for me. I love working with people that I trust, that I want to spend time with, that I want to be around. And there are innumerable books that will tell you never work with friends, never mix business and pleasure, never do that. And I tried to resist for a little while, but it wasn't my natural state. Like my natural state is to work with the people that I love and trust and care about and want to spend time with. That's me. It's not for everybody. So I think my one tip would be find time and space to sit with yourself, whether it's meditation, journaling, just conversing with yourself, and find who you really are. And we touched on intuition, but we need headspace to find that connection with that inner knowing and that inner self. And we have it right now. Like we have a lot of space. But I think it took a while for me as well to get comfortable with the fact that me sitting in a cafe, maybe something we can't do right now, but me sitting in a cafe or sitting on the back deck, having a cup of coffee and thinking, maybe doodling a bit, brainstorming, that is my work as a leader. That is my greatest work. It's not necessarily sitting at my computer, typing away, creating something tangible that could validate my existence every day, and show my team or whoever that I was like making something. I had to lean into the fact that sitting and being and thinking and brainstorming and allowing stuff to come to me is as much my work as a leader as everything else is. And then I realized it is my most important work, and I should not be doing very much of the tick tack typing away on my computer, and I should be doing a lot more of the connecting with self and connecting with flow. And whatever that is for you, it could be reading, it could be researching. I'm not that much of a researcher. I'm much more intuitive based, but many people are very good at like reading and consuming all of this information to connect with their intuition and form a pathway. So whatever it is for you, finding and carving out intentionally some space to find that, to tap into that.
I can't agree anymore. I think that I got very much stuck in that reading about leadership, listening to endless podcasts about it, and I even teaching it from other people's point of view. And what I found was that it became highly ineffective for me as a way of being in the world and sharing a message, because it just wasn't me and it wasn't authentic, and I didn't have a deep understanding of what it actually meant until when someone wrote about leaders having integrity. Like, what does that even mean? What is integrity? How does that look? In what situations that are so challenging where you need to have a conversation that is so uncomfortable for you, but you realize that you're out of integrity or they're out of integrity and it needs to happen? Until you experience that and understand and really embody it, I think it's just almost, from my experience, it's almost impossible to understand or to know. It's just about how you exist in the world, and And I think that if there's one thing I know from you, is that what you say and how you put yourself out there, and how you are on this camera with us today, is that's who I know you as in the couple of times that we've met and connected. And I greatly appreciate you coming on and kind of sharing your message with us. I think it's been hugely valuable, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Thank you. Anytime. I love it. I love talking with you always.